I remember sitting with Carol on her front porch one late afternoon, the sky painted in soft pastels as she told me about the moment she first realized life would never be the same. She spoke of the silence in the house after her husband's footsteps faded forever, a hush so heavy it felt as though the walls themselves were holding their breath. In the beginning, every corner held a memory, his worn slippers by the bedside, the faint scent of his aftershave lingering in the hall. Yet in that stillness, she found a quiet invitation to begin again. It started with small, almost imperceptible shifts. A single chair moved to catch the morning light, a new mug of tea bought just for her, a line of hope sketched in steam. In the weeks that followed, Carol stumbled more often than she walked. There were mornings she couldn't bear to open her eyes, afternoons when grief washed over her like a sudden storm. She'd learned early on that sorrow does not arrive on schedule, it visits unannounced and stays as long as it chooses. But she also discovered that kindness, to herself above all, could be a gentle anchor. She would whisper encouragement into those dark moments. It's okay to feel lost, she'd say, but you deserve moments of peace, too. And sometimes, peace arrived wrapped in unexpected forms, a neighbor's casserole left on her doorstep, the laughter of children playing down the street, or the hush of a good book that let her mind rest. One afternoon, Carol decided to return to a hobby she had abandoned years earlier, watercolor painting. She set up her easel by the window, the world outside glowing with new grains, and watched as her brush hesitated over the blank canvas. With her first stroke, something shifted, color blossomed where emptiness had reigned. Each wash of pigment was like a gentle breath, a reminder that creation could grow from the deepest loss. As shapes emerged, delicate petals, flowing streams, she realized that healing might not erase the ache, but it could carry it forward, shaping it into something meaningful. Then there's the story of Martin, who lost his wife of 40 years and thought he would never laugh again. He refused invitations, shut his phone off, and turned his back on the world. Until one day, his granddaughter called him for help with a crossword puzzle. He grumbled at first, crosswords were Dorothy's domain, but he found himself drawn in, piecing together words and clues. The challenge lit a spark inside him, one he hadn't felt since they spent Sunday mornings over the newspaper together. Soon he was tackling puzzles every day, then signing up for an online group where friends from all over shared clues and encouragement. Through those 2-inch squares of paper, Martin rediscovered a sense of connection, and with it, a pathway back to life. Not every moment after loss carries the promise of joy. I've sat with people who, in the hush of evening, still feel the weight of absence settle around them. Yet even in those evenings, there are threads of light, the memory of a favorite song that brings a smile, the glow of a lamp left on just to keep the darkness at bay, the small triumph of making a meal for one that nourishes both body and spirit. These threads, when woven together, form a tapestry that honors what was lost and welcomes what can still be found. Perhaps the most surprising guidance comes from those who have walked this path before and found courage in community. A widower named Gloria praised local Support Your Widows group as the place she learned to trust again. She arrived expecting only tears, but instead found laughter, shared stories, and gentle nudges toward fresh possibilities, a book club turned hiking group, a baking circle that expanded into charity sales to help others in need. In giving and receiving understanding, the pain of loss transformed into purpose, a sense that one life's ending could become another's beginning. All of these real stories share a common thread, the willingness to start with something so small that it almost goes unnoticed. A single stroke of a paintbrush, a puzzled crossword answer, the wallpaper chosen for a new living room accent, the simple act of reaching out for help. These choices don't erase the past, they build a bridge to the days ahead, one careful step at a time. And as you listen to these stories, remember that your own path will be unique, shaped by your memories, your passions, and your quiet moments of courage. When you're ready, you'll find your next step, and sometimes, it begins the moment you catch your breath and look toward tomorrow. And when you feel that stirring of possibility inside you, like the first dawn light after a long night, you'll know it's time to explore how others have turned that spark into something brighter. I've learned that rebuilding life after such a profound loss often happens in gentle waves rather than sudden leaps, and it's in those moments between the tides that true growth can take root. Take Evelyn, for instance, who discovered solace in the quiet of her backyard garden. At first, she could barely stand to look at the patch of earth where she and her husband had planted roses together. The sight of those empty stems felt like a reminder of days forever gone. But one morning, as the sun slipped through the trees and the dew clung to the soil, she found herself kneeling with a handful of seeds in her gloved hand. She pressed them into the earth with a soft promise, "Let something new begin here." As the first sprigs of green emerged, she felt an echo of hope, as though life itself was whispering that beauty could still unfold, even from the hardest ground. Then there's George, who had always measured his days by routine: morning paper with his wife, midday chat over lunch, evening music on the porch. When she passed, he found those familiar rhythms unbearably empty. His daughter insisted he learn to play the guitar, insisting it was Dorothy's favorite pastime. He resisted, convinced he lacked talent. But one Sunday afternoon, he strummed the first tentative chord. The sound was awkward, but he felt a spark at his fingertips, a connection both to the melody and to the memory of shared songs. Over time, those chords grew steadier, and soon he was playing the tunes they once hummed together. In each note, he felt her presence alongside him, guiding his fingers and filling his heart with warmth. I also think of Anne, who had spent decades as a caregiver, devoted to her husband's health through his long illness. When he finally passed, she faced the unfamiliar territory of caring for herself. She began by setting daily intentions, simple affirmations spoken aloud: "Today, I will be kind to myself," or "I will take a moment to breathe and appreciate this day." At first, the words felt hollow, but over time they became a kind of gentle ritual, anchoring her to moments of gratitude and self-compassion. Those affirmations grew into practices: a morning stretch in the soft glow of sunrise, a cup of tea savored with mindful attention, a walk taken without purpose other than to feel the breeze on her face. In these acts of self-care, she found a new rhythm, one that honored both the past she cherished and the present she was learning to live. Sometimes, reimagining your world means discovering passions you never knew you had. Walter, whose life had revolved around his wife's love of cooking, assumed the kitchen would always feel like her domain. But one rainy afternoon, he rummaged through recipe cards and found one she had marked with a little heart, her favorite lemon cake. With trembling hands, he followed the instructions, measuring and whisking, until the smell of citrus and sugar filled his home. When the cake emerged golden and fragrant, he took that first bite with tears in his eyes, but also a grin that surprised him. He realized he could nourish both body and soul, and that in doing so, he was carrying on a piece of her legacy, filling their home with laughter and sweetness once more. Connection, too, can be the key that unlocks the next chapter. Maria, a widow for nearly 2 years, had grown accustomed to solitude. Yet she always felt a tug when she passed the local senior center, its doors open to laughter and conversation. One afternoon, she mustered the courage to step inside. There, she found people who shared her love of crossword puzzles, others who painted watercolor landscapes, and some who simply needed a listening ear. In the warmth of that community, she discovered that grief does not isolate you unless you let it. By reaching out, she formed friendships that infused her days with companionship and gave her heart new reasons to hope. These stories remind us that starting over is not about forgetting what was lost, but about weaving the memory of our loved one into the tapestry of our continuing lives. It's about finding small rituals that honor the past, embracing activities that stir our curiosity, and seeking connection when the world feels too quiet. In each of these moments, planting a seed, strumming a chord, baking a cake, offering an ear, you are choosing to step forward, to shape your life by your own design, even as you carry the love you shared in your heart. As you reflect on these examples, consider what subtle shift might feel like your own invitation: a hobby you've set aside, a place you've longed to visit, a conversation you've hesitated to start. When you're ready, lean into that nudge. Nurture it gently, with kindness and patience, allowing it to grow into something meaningful. And in the next part, we'll explore how to cultivate resilience and find lasting purpose, so that each new step you take becomes part of a story written with both remembrance and renewal. I remember the moment Helen realized that resilience wasn't some distant quality reserved for others, but a gentle companion she could cultivate day by day. After losing her partner of 50 years, she found herself navigating a world that no longer felt familiar. One morning, she rose with a heaviness in her chest and wondered if the simple act of getting dressed was too much to bear. Yet she chose to lay out her favorite scarf, the one that reminded her of their autumn walks, and draped it around her neck. In that small gesture, she told herself that she mattered, that her life still held beauty. And as she stepped outside, the crisp air on her face became a testament to the quiet strength she carried within. Like Helen, you may discover that resilience surfaces unpredictably, born in the moments when you honor your own needs. It might be waking early to watch dawn light spill across the horizon, a reminder that each sunrise offers a fresh page. It might be picking up a pen and writing a letter to your spouse, not to send, but to let your feelings find form and breath. You might find resilience in the rhythm of familiar music, in the solace of a silent drive through tree-lined streets, or in the laughter that bubbles up unexpectedly when you least expect it. These small acts, woven together, become the threads of a new resilience, one that acknowledges the weight of loss while still choosing to carry forward. Finding lasting purpose often flows naturally from these moments of resilience. For some, like David, it appeared when he volunteered at a local veterans' home, sharing stories that honored his own service and his wife's unwavering support. Those afternoons spent listening, laughing, and sometimes weeping with others who understood the echoes of sacrifice helped him see that his own experiences held value beyond his private grief. For others, purpose shone through creative expression, painting quilts that incorporated fabrics from treasured clothing, writing memoirs that preserved a lifetime of love, or planting a tree in their spouse's honor so that each spring, new leaves would speak of enduring life. Purpose can also emerge through the simple act of caring for yourself. Remember and who spoke daily affirmations into the quiet morning air. Over time, those words evolved into a deeper practice of self-compassion, savoring honey on warm toast, practicing gentle stretches that honored her body's needs, and choosing nourishing foods that felt more like kindness than obligation. Through self-care, she rediscovered a sense of worth and direction, understanding that her own well-being mattered just as much as the care she had always given to others. Sometimes, you'll find purpose in connection. Margaret, once enveloped by loneliness, began hosting a monthly tea for friends and neighbors, people she hardly knew before, but who soon gathered around her kitchen table with stories, cookies, and laughter. She discovered that offering a welcoming space, sharing her warmth, and listening with an open heart gave her days a bright new rhythm. In building that circle of friendship, she learned that healing and purpose often walk hand in hand, carried by the simple exchanges that fill our lives with color. As you move forward, embrace rituals that honor both your past and your unfolding future. Create small ceremonies, a sunrise toast to memory, a playlist of favorite songs, a scrapbook of moments that shaped your life together. These rituals become beacons, guiding you through days when the world feels dim, reminding you of love that transcends loss. And alongside these rituals, allow yourself to set gentle goals, a walk around the block, a phone call to an old friend, a planting of new flowers in your garden. Each goal carries the promise of possibility, like a soft whisper urging you to venture just a step beyond the borders of grief. Above all, give yourself patience. Just as winter yields to spring, your heart will find moments of warmth and growth in its own time. There may be days when sorrow feels like a tide that pulls you under, and that is okay. Your feelings are a testament to the depth of your love. But trust that each time you choose one small act of hope, from brewing a pot of coffee to reading a paragraph of a new book, you are building the bridge to a life that honors your past and embraces your future. Your journey will be uniquely yours, shaped by memories only you carry and passions only you can uncover. It may feel slow at times, like a single bloom pushing through cold earth. But remember that beneath every resilient blossom lies a root that has patiently grown, nourished by both rain and sunlight. As you nurture your own roots, you'll find strength you thought was lost and a purpose that carries you forward with gentle grace. So when you feel the stirring of a new idea, a desire to learn, to create, to connect, tend to it with kindness. Let it take shape in its own time, and trust that each small step you take in caring for yourself and others adds meaning to your continuing story. In weaving together resilience, purpose, and self-compassion, you honor the love you shared and open the door to new chapters filled with hope, possibility, and quiet joy.